Campus. It is the first day of a new month, December. Flip those calendars over. Only one more month before we hit 2018. December has a lot left to offer here for us. 12/1/2017, the Right Side of Campus Breakfast Edition. I'll be your host today, Donnie Right Side, hopefully joined shortly by the big man on campus. We'll be able to talk a little bit of college basketball, talk some daily topics daily topics today that we're looking forward to. Mike Leach, the Pirate to Tennessee in the SEC. Could it happen? A lot of stuff we've been hearing lately with that coaching search there for the University of Tennessee. As wild as it's been, I'm actually kind of rooting for a couple interests here. I just want to see mayhem down there. And two coaches I would love to see get that job just because over the next 5, 6 years or however long they last in the SEC, typically seems like they only last 3 to 4 years. Either Mike Leach would be fantastic in the SEC East. There would be hilarious to watch him going up with the likes of Saban and Auburn and Georgia and Florida. He would be great in press conferences. And also, I want to see that old sneaky dog from LSU maybe reach up there in the Tennessee. Les Miles would be hilarious if he got back in the SEC. I think both of them would do okay at Tennessee. I really do, but there's a lot that we can talk of once Big Man gets in here. But that's one of those topics I always think is kind of fun to watch because how quickly Twitter reacts, how quickly everything goes in the SEC. When you think you have a coach, you don't have a coach. You're getting turned down. Everybody's getting made millions based on Tennessee. All you have to do is throw your name in the hat. Hey, you know what? I'm going to take a look at that Tennessee job. And then all of a sudden you're going to sit back out there and be like, oh my God, I'm going to get, an extra $1 million on my contract, another 3-year extension, and all my coaches are going to get paid. Smart move, smart business move here. I think we got the big man on campus in here, do we, Jeff? Can I hear Jeff?
Donnie.
Yo, there he is.
What's up? Dude, Donnie,
Hey,
I got to
buddy.
fucking say something, Donnie. This is amazing. Remember the other day when your updates came in? You
Yeah.
had to do your update
Yep.
on your computer? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why does that always seem to happen at the beginning of the day when you need the computer?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the computer cares, Jeff. I honestly don't. I just think it's like, you want that update now? Yeah, you're going to take it now. It's just one
And
of
it
those
takes
things.
8 billion hours to do.
Yeah, it does. Your computer is going to turn on and off. Be patient. And it literally gets stuck at like 2, 2, 2, 2, and it never moves.
I was at 33% at like 9:35, and it's still at the same amount.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do? But we're
Oh,
back.
well, okay, man.
Right
Well,
side of-
welcome into the show, Jeff. Let's say hi to everybody. Get out there. Say hi to everybody, Jeff. You're here. We're ready to go.
Hello, everybody. I'm here, right side of campus. It's December 1st. We're in a new month. We get the World Cup draw in front of me here on TV. That's exciting. We got college basketball last night, which wasn't that exciting. I mean, as far as the pick that I give out, it was a stone cold shitter, Donnie, as they would say. But we got a lot to talk about. College football conference championships coming up today. We got Tennessee, and I heard Zach Jones is actually interviewing today for the coaching position there. He's taking his talents maybe to Rocky Top. So we wish him the best of luck, Donnie, at his interview today.
No, I agree with you there. I mean, in Tennessee, we're going to talk about that quite a bit because it's just fun. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen, Jeff, head coaching jobs in the NFL, college, wherever they might be, that's more fun than trying to follow this Tennessee runaway freight train right now where everybody throws their name in the hat. If they get the job, Jeff, it's a monster paying job, $6-7 million a year. If they don't get it, Jeff, they just go back to their school with an extra 3 years on their contract, maybe another $1 million in their pocket and just live like a king. It's a great
But
job
the
for
problem is,
everybody.
nobody seems to want it. I mean, I heard Mike Leach last night was going to happen, and now he's all of a sudden not. Now we don't know what's going on there. Nobody wants this job, and it's truly a screw job. And now I've seen deleted tweets that John Curry's resigned. I mean, or been fired. I mean, what the hell is going on at this university?
No, it's pretty bad from what they're doing. I mean, as soon as you let outside, exposure get into your campus and let the fans dictate who you want to hire, good or bad. You know what I mean? Whether or not you agree with the coaching hire, somebody in that administration has to say a backbone. We vetted this, we researched this. We think this is the right guy for the job, not the guy sitting at home that says, why don't I have Bill Belichick as my coach at the University of Tennessee? It's fun to watch, but again, I opened up the show saying, Jeff, I would love to see Les Miles or Mike Leach get this job and just inject that fun into Tennessee. Not a straight up guy that's going to just close ranks and you never hear from him. We're going to put our, heads down. We're going to recruit hard. Like those guys will be out front in the press, with major headlines, and it would be great football theater there in the SEC.
Yeah, you mentioned Mike Leach in the SEC. That would be interesting. That air raid offense that he runs. I'm kind of hoping for it, but we'll see what happens. Leach seems to be the guy that everyone's talking about. But I mean, he had a chance to go to Nebraska recently, Donnie, and he scoffed at it. So, I mean, will he make the decision here? I don't know. I mean, he's got the opportunity, but he didn't go to Nebraska, so why would he go to Tennessee? But I guess all about money, Donnie, right?
Oh, it's always about money, but it also prestige. Like, I mean, say what you want, Jeff, whether or not you like SEC football or you agree that they get too much hype. It's a huge conference. Everybody's in an arms race there, and you like to add characters into the environment. Like Nick Saban is a very staunch guy, but he's fun because you see him animated on the sideline. You want to knock off the king of the hill. You always used to like Les Miles would come in there, win a national title. Saban would poke him and say, "Well, the only reason why Les Miles won at LSU is because he had my recruits." It's always that big money ramp up game. But now you got a nice guy, Jeff, down in Florida. With the likes of Dan Mullen going there. I don't want another nice guy. I want a guy who's going to stir the pot and say, you know what? I'm here at Tennessee, and we're going to win some football games. Like Kirby Smart, nice guy at Georgia. Will Muschamp, you don't hear much there in South Carolina. Give me the personality. Put him right in the middle, Rocky Top. Plant that flag and say, you know what? I'm here to dominate. Deal with us. That's what I want to see. That's why Lane Kiffin, say what you want. I mean, awful hire back in the day just because the fact he was like, you know what? I'm using this job. I'm going to bounce. The minute USC opens, I'm out of here. I don't even care what happens to you. Lane Kiffin would stir the pot like he's doing right now, just trolling Tennessee. That's what we need at Tennessee, Jeff.
But the last thing I'll say on this, the problem that Tennessee has is their fans have decided who goes and who stays. That shouldn't be happening in college football. Look, there should be the fans should have their thing, and the deciders that make the decisions should make their decisions. And at the end of the day, Donnie, they have to stop being delusional, thinking there's some top rate football team to go coach. They're not. They haven't been relevant in 20 years. They've never won anything recently that's important to talk about. So again, it's they've taken the power away from themselves, and now the fans think they can decide who stays, who goes. I mean, they actually thought John Gruden would leave ESPN and go coach them. That's the delusional group that this fan base is. They just think they're Alabama or Miami or something like that. They're not.
No, and you look at too. Somebody brought Gregory and Timon in the chat box. Haslam does run Tennessee football. It's amazing. Like Jimmy Haslam might be the worst overall runner, quote unquote, of football you could have. Look at the train wreck that he has up in Cleveland. And you want a big money booster calling the shots at Tennessee as Jimmy Haslam? That's just straight up hilarious there that guy is that involved. But Jeff, we all know in college athletics, you got that group of people that's in the room, the 10 to 12 guys that say, hey, look, we want to fire Butch Jones. We need to pony up $5 million. Yep, I'll throw in 300. I'll throw in $1 million. I'll throw in 750 grand. Those guys have a say in who comes in there next, who that AD is. They do pull the strings, but the fact that it's Jimmy Haslam sitting there at the top of the totem pole saying yes or no, it makes it all the more better, doesn't it, Jeff? Just like you sit back and say, Jimmy Haslam's about to make the call in Tennessee, and you say, well, he's done such a good job in Cleveland making the call. Why don't they just put Hugh?
Yeah,
why doesn't Jeff just take Hugh Jackson and send him to Tennessee? You could save some money, right?
yeah, yeah. No, you're totally right. And Guan White's a little irritated that I said 20 years. It has been 20 years. I mean, what do you want me to say? This team was relevant in the late 90s. It's true. I mean, am I lying there, Donnie? I mean, with that confident? I mean, it is. They are. They're not
No, I
relevant.
mean
They haven't been.
they've been a decent. They haven't been relevant in the national title chase. I'll agree with you, but they had some decent years
Okay,
mixed
but
in there.
isn't that?
It's
But
no,
they've not been relevant even in the SEC, Donnie. I mean, they're
no, no.
never
I
as
agree.
good as
No,
other teams. And the
no.
goal, Donnie, is to do something big. And the truth of the matter is, they haven't. The last time they
No,
won the division was 2007, Donnie. Not even the SEC. That was back in '98. So it's basically been 20 years of poor football. It's the truth. I know you don't
It's
want to hear it,
interesting. I mean,
but
yeah, they love football down there, and you want to say what you want with Neyland Stadium. I mean, over 100,000 filled up every week, passionate fans. It's one of the places that you should automatically dominate in football every year because you have the resources. Like you're right in the middle of SEC country. You have a great home field advantage. If you take a recruit through Knoxville, it's a beautiful place to go to school. And, you say, look, man, sit at the 50-yard line. Look how many people are going to fill the stadium and cheer for you. And those fans turn out a monster profit every year for that university. And they still can't get it right. And those fans keep coming back. Sort of reminds me, Jeff, now that you talk about it, like Tennessee is like an NFL team, saying with an owner that can't get it right, but still pockets boatloads of money. That's Tennessee football for you right there.
Oh, I agree with you. Donnie, last night, we'll get into some college football tonight. We
Yep.
got some of that. We'll do some conference championships. We do want to go over last night. Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins
Yeah.
38-14 and put a little couple day hold on the Eagles winning the NFC East. They throw their the wrench in the plans of the Eagles to win that division. Nice win last night by Dallas. Washington was never in this game. They went down early. Really never recovered from it, Donnie. What'd you see in this one?
Yeah, mistakes. Number one, two, three, and four in that football game. I don't know what Jamison Crowder was doing. I don't know if he was, using a little Josh Gordon, Mad Dog 2020 before the game, maybe smoked a little weed before the game, but it literally looked like he just wanted to catch the football and was maybe high on acid and just say, here, take the football, Dallas, every single time you touch the ball. I don't know what they were doing early because when you look at the game overall in the stats, I know Morris ran well in that football game, which is fine. Eventually, he's going to be able to run. So many injuries for the Washington Redskins at this point. But taking a look at the game itself, Jeff, you can't turn the football over like that. Kirk Cousins was okay in that football game. Didn't get much help. Offensive line was banged up right from the get-go again as soon as the game started. It is what it is. I mean, it's hard to win football games on the road in the NFL. And yeah, Dallas is back. I mean, we're going to hear that for at least another week. And also pertains to Jeff with this game looking forward. Dallas runs the table and the Eagles lose out. They can win the division. Love that concept.
I mean, some of these people with these concepts, you got to laugh. I mean, you're not serious, right? I'm with that. I mean, the Eagles lose out, you win the division. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. Uh, the,
Yeah.
these 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 Cowboy fans, another delusional fan base this year. If we win out, we'll make the playoffs. Yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, not a lot went on. This game did go over the total. Obviously with the Cowboys scoring 38, but it was difficult late. I know Gabe Morency, he was on the over, I believe, and this was
Yeah.
sitting at basically 45 for a long while. Late touchdown got it up and over the total. So if you had the over, congrats, you won the game. And if you had the underdog Cowboys, you easily get the job. These are Donnie what you would call like a hand ride type of game. When this game was up at what 24-7, there wasn't a lot of confidence that Washington could come back.
Yeah, early on, looked like Washington was going to blow the doors off of Dallas. But again, you can't just turn the football over and drop balls that turn into interceptions early in the game. And say what you want. I mean, hey, Dak Prescott had a nice game. Did he? What did he have? 100 yards passing in that football game. So I mean, it's not so much of what Dallas did, more of the injuries on Washington and how poorly they played. But hey, it's a win is a win in the NFL. 38-14 final, an easy one there. It doesn't get any better for Dallas, so to speak. The only thing that they're doing right now, to me, Jeff, is ruining draft position. So we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But everybody who also throws in like capping knowledge and what they want to do. Well, if I saw this circle around yesterday, you know what? It'd be nice if Washington won because that would clinch the division for the Eagles. So maybe they won't really care too much about the Seattle Seahawks game. Like, do people actually use this in their term as like their capping principles? Like the Eagles are worried about clinching the division like 6 weeks before the season's over. Like there's not a bigger prize on deck. Like didn't the Eagles already clinch the division when they ripped Dallas a couple weeks ago? But you're saying that you're going to say, well, I want the Eagles to win now, or the Eagles have to win that. Have to win now. What are we talking about?
Yeah, you hear some really idiotic statements. I mean, by the way, the Dallas Cowboys are 6-6. Just wanted to let everyone know. Don't know how many of you know that, but how about them Cowboys? 6-6, baby. Uh, Donnie, we'll move on from the NFL. Not a ton to really be too concerned with this game. Let's get into tonight's game. Interesting game, Pac-12 title. You got the Stanford Cardinal heading on the road to take on the USC Trojans, but it's not really on the road, Donnie. It's in Levi's Stadium. So a
Yeah.
distinct advantage, I guess you could say, for Stanford, but
Yeah.
very cavernous stadium, an NFL stadium. So we'll see if it really matters in general. USC, I'm sure they'll get fans there as well. So I'm sure this will pretty much even out and it won't matter. USC, I've actually been a fan of lately. I mean, early in the year, they had some struggle with their run defense. And, remember Western Michigan, Donnie, back to that game. But that was at the beginning of the year. I think this team's totally kind of figured it out. They played well. Darnold looks really good. And they've won 4 in a row. They've covered 3 of 4. I love Stanford. I'm not going to tell you I don't love Bryce Love. I think he's massively underrated. I think he's had a tremendous year. He's going to have a huge game to keep them in this one because USC is going to move the football against that pass defense. It's concerning for me if I'm a Stanford guy. Bryce Love could keep them in it, but uh, Darnold's going to keep them in it too, and probably win and cover this game. I lean USC here. I'd lay the 4.
Yeah, I could see your point of view on that. I actually would lean the opposite way and go Stanford. I'm not really impressed with USC. I mean, I still
So
look a
you don't
lot
see
at
my
that Notre Dame game. I mean, I see your point where USC is talented, but they haven't beat anybody. I mean, just looking at USC overall lately against Notre Dame, that's the game I want to look at where a team says, you know what, I'm going to get real physical with you. And they just put them to sleep in that game. And then you go against the dregs of the conference with defense, the Arizona States, the Arizonas, the Colorados, the UCLAs. I mean, nice wins. I mean, you win by UCLA by 5 points. Maybe UCLA, one of the worst defenses on the planet. Colorado, not a great football team. You win, though. You win by 2 touchdowns. I'll give you that. Arizona, one of the worst defenses in that game. I mean, you're actually going to get a team that's going to say, we're going to limit possessions in this football game and really pound the football at you. You don't have to win the football game. What is it, 3.5, 4 right now? I would lean towards Stanford, coming off a nice victory, convincing over Notre Dame. I don't really say, we'll look at the matchups, well, they beat Notre Dame, they lost Notre Dame. I don't really care about that. I just like the style of football that Stanford can play to limit possessions for USC and force them into really maximizing every single possession. I'll lean on the points in this game tonight. Don't love it, but I can see it. And again, you're right, Jeff. It is a little bit closer to Stanford's campus playing up there in San Jose or wherever they're playing the football game just outside of San Francisco at this point at Levi Stadium. A little longer haul for USC, but should be a fun football game to watch, though. 2 good football teams.
Yeah, I will make the case. I mean, when you mentioned Arizona State, they did mangle them in those games. They won, convincingly in all those. But I hear your point. It's a tough game. I'm actually kind of annoyed that Washington State's not in this one because we know I like Washington State. But yeah, I'm going to take the quarterback that I trust in Darnold. I don't know. I just think they're the better side here. They played better lately. But again, I hear your point on the. Yeah, I don't know that I believe that, Tim. That's been reported, but I don't know that I mean, I've been seeing it deleted. People are talking about John Curry out at UT. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
don't think
mess. I
anybody
don't.
has any problem. I don't think anybody has. I see inside information coming all over the place, and it's wrong every single time. I don't think anything you read on Twitter. I don't even care if it's a guy with a check mark that's best friends to somebody in the administration. They've gotten it wrong, Jeff, 100% of the time. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even if he is fired, I mean, just listen. Let me know when they decide on the coach. That's when I care. Other than that, I just don't care very much. Like I said, we do though wish Zach Jones all the success as he heads up to Knoxville for his interview with, I guess, a new or a new leader of that group. You won't have to see John Curry's face. So, Zach, we wish you luck. Donnie, when's your interview? Next Monday, I think you said.
Hey, I'll get down there. We'll straighten it out, man. We will straighten Tennessee football out down there. I will bring in Les Miles, and we'll get that groundwork going on the next recruiting class, Jeff.
Also, am excited to see where USA and Italy are positioned. Chile also in the World Cup. It's going to be interesting, Donnie, to see where those teams are picked. Oh wait, they're not in it. They didn't make the cut. USA's not in it. So Donnie, who are you rooting for now that USA's not in? You have a wide array of teams. You got Tunisia, Senegal, Serbia, Nigeria, Australia,
Jeff, but
Morocco.
who's
What
the
do you
team?
like?
Who's the team that has the clap that the Minnesota Vikings use now?
That would be
You know how they go like
Iceland.
this. Is Iceland in it this
Yes,
year?
Iceland
That's
is
my
in it.
squad.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my
Iceland,
boys.
a population the size of Corpus Christi, Texas. They're in.
Yes.
Well, truly remarkable that they're in the World Cup. Really, really amazing. Yeah, no, they're a great group to root for. They've basically
Yeah.
built it up from the grassroots end, and yeah, they basically pawned a country as big as the United States and said, "We're in the World Cup. Look at what we've done." And so say hello. So, okay, Donnie's rooting for Iceland. Very good.
Yes.
Good to
That's my
know.
squad.
Uh, I
Where is the
like it.
World Cup
I
this
like.
year? Is it Russia? World Cup Russia this year?
It is in Russia. Yeah.
This summer?
Yes. The draw's
What
today,
was
so
the
they've
one, Jeff? They give it to they give it to Qatar or Qatar, however you want to say it. Is that one still on deck, or did they take it away from them and gave it to Russia?
I believe that's on deck at some point, but I haven't heard who the next World Cup is. But today, basically, Donnie, they're doing the draw. We'll figure out what groups people are in. Blah 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 blah. So for me, it's Egypt. I'm rooting for Egypt just because I like one of the players that they have. But I'll root for England. I mean, I, I got to root for England, right? I mean,
3 Lions?
yeah. I mean, I follow Premier League, so I'll root for England. But it's tough. There's not a lot of teams that I root for. Albania's not in. Italy's not in. USA's not in. What a mess. But Donnie, let's get into some conference championships. I know that's why
Yeah, look at it.
people
Yep,
are generally here. We
sure.
have a lot of them. We won't go through every single one, but let's start out, Donnie. This is a riveting game. Can't wait. Idaho heading into Georgia State to take on the Panthers. That's not. Wait, that's not. Oh, wait. Never mind. That's not a conference championship game, Donnie. Sorry.
No, certainly
Um,
not.
all right, Memphis, Central Florida. Central Florida lane 7.5, totals 81, 12 noon in Central Florida, down in Orlando. This is a true home game for Central Florida. Remember, Donnie, in the AAC, in the Sun Belt, in the, or not in the Sun Belt, the, what's the other, Conference USA. They
Yeah,
play all their games at home, the playoff games.
yes. Mhm.
But you have to look at this one. We talked about it on the roundtable. Memphis playing with revenge here. Memphis in this spot again. You have to think Norvell at some point may move on to a better job. He's been a great coach for them. And Central Florida's been dominating all year. They've been the best G5 team. Haven't lost a game. Kenzie Milton's been fantastic defensively. They've been very good. They're a little concerning, Donnie, though, in the pass for me against the pass. I've looked at their analytics. You and I both look at their analytics. Against the run, they've been really good. The problem is they don't get a ton of pressure on the quarterback. They've struggled all year getting sacks, and it leaves them a little vulnerable in the passing game. I get the feeling Riley Ferguson will have a big day in this game. Give him these 7 points. It's hard to get away from that just because I do think this will be a shootout. I do think 7 points will be important in this game. Um, but then I look at that 81 and I think to myself, Minkia, that's a high total, but I don't think Memphis is going to stop anybody. I don't think UCF's going to stop anybody either. Crazy game. This should be an awesome, awesome game.
Yeah, no, it should be. I look at the line, opens up at 7 at Pinnacle, 7 at Christ, and you're looking at, 7.5 now coming up across the board, which I agree with. Earlier in the week, Jeff, as we saw, 85s posted for that total, certainly going down. And that's just, people scalping that number saying 85 is ridiculous. I don't care what happens in the football game. I'm just going to go under 85. And I sort of agree with that because anywhere you're looking at 90s, so to speak, to get a winning total, I don't think there's too much value in. But looking overall, I think this is one more Scott Frost game, Jeff, where it's like, you know what? We know this is our last ride together. Let's go out with an absolute bang at home. Let's win the conference championship. Do I see it exactly playing out the way it played last time where they just busted Memphis out? I don't think it's going to play that well, but I can see UCF winning this football game by double digits. I just think they have a defense, and Memphis doesn't have a defense. I think that's going to play into it. If you watch last week versus USF does present a decent defense for that conference, and they shredded them fairly easily. Memphis isn't even on the same planet with UCF on defense. Or excuse me, USF on defense. So UCF coming into this football game, guns blazing. I can see them hanging somewhere between 48 and 50 points in this one, getting the 10-point cover. I'll lean on UCF in this game, just sending that coach out with a bang. They know he's not going to be there after this game or shortly after it. It's going to be announced where he's going as a head football coach. And good luck to him. He's a good coach. I think UCF wins by double digits.
Yeah, I think the concern I have, and for me, you mentioned the defense that the UCF has. I think we have to be real with ourselves and agree that this conference this year has been terrible. I mean, other than South Florida, Memphis, and UCF, I mean, Navy was down this year. Houston was down this year. Temple was down this year. This is a bad conference this year. And I do think that the numbers are a little skewed. I mean, you look at last week, I think that was more of a true representation of what UCF was on defense. I think they're a real good run defense. I do think they can come to play on that end, but I mean, they get gashed last week through the air, and I think they will because they don't get any pressure on the quarterback, the opposing quarterback. It's common knowledge that they don't sack anybody, they don't put any pressure, and they're going to let Riley Ferguson pick them apart. It's a tough one, just because I do agree with your point on, you know, this is their last hurrah per se. You want to have that undefeated season, kind of like Western Michigan did, and you want to go to that big time bowl game, and they have every ability to do so. Problem is, to cover the number, they got to win by double digits, basically. I don't know that they could do that. I want to go with a better quarterback. I think Riley Ferguson's a better quarterback. I'm going to lean Memphis. You're going to go UCF. So we've
Mhm.
disagreed on both these, Donnie.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
We don't
Yep.
disagree very often, but um, Donnie, Scott K is asking, do you think UCF will pay a lot of money to keep Scott Frost?
No, no. I mean, they can pay all the money they want, but there's a lot more money out there and a lot more meaningful jobs. And hey, I love what he did at UCF. What a turnaround. But I like the people that come out and say, oh, it'd be a nice story if he stayed at UCF. He's an up and coming riser. This guy's going to go to a Power Five, to a major school, and get $7 million a year and be set up for life. And good for him. So, I mean, it's a perfect match. If you graduated, Jeff, from a university, let's just say you played football, Jeff, offensive tackle at Miami, and you went around and, the non-Power Fives in the MAC and you were dominating. And you say, you know what, I really like this school on that. Let's just say you're at like Temple, just for instance. I really like this school. And you get a knock at the door and Miami opens it up and says, Jeff, we're going to pay you more money than you can manage. Come home, brother. Come home and save this university. It's not hard. It's not hard. You know what I mean? You're just out the door. You're excited. And you're going to probably your dream job. You played there. You want to go back and resurrect the program. You walk in like a king from day one. Can't do any wrong. It's a no-brainer. I hope he goes back to Nebraska because I want to see Nebraska be good.
But this is where, like, back to Tennessee, they're so ridiculously idiotic. You should have just went to Mike Norvell from the beginning and said, "What do you want? We'll give you what you want. Come here and coach our team." I mean, same state. What do they?
Did
Why
they
not
even
go
look
to
at
Mike
him?
Norvell?
Did they even look
I
at
don't
Norvell?
believe
Like
so.
it's everything I'm getting is like people are making calls like, "Hey, I'm interested in your job." Yeah, we're not interested in you. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I don't believe they made ever an attempt even at Mike Norvell. Which I agree with DJ1 Mike. He's the guy they should get. But again, a group that has no idea what they're doing. Let's move on, Donnie. TCU, Big 12 title game. TCU heading to Oklahoma. Oklahoma laying 7, total 63.5. And Donnie, the question is, do you trust uh, Kenny Hill? I mean, if you could figure Kenny Hill out, I'd like to hear from you because he's good one week and shit the next week. Oklahoma, best
Yeah.
quarterback in the country, on fire. Can you lay 7 points with that defense? That's a big question.
In Jerry world too. Not a home and home game typical there. So neutral site.
Yeah, this is another tough one. This is a game I'm not going to have any money on. Not interested in. I think Oklahoma will get the job done, but with that defense, it's hard for me to lay any sort of points with them right now. TCU is a capable offense. Kyle Hicks. I think Kenny Hill can be good enough. This is a big stage, but it's early in the day. There's just other betting opportunities that I like a little more. So for me, it's a game that I'm off of. But Oklahoma seem to be able to do whatever they want against any offense. But I heard people think that they think TCU can beat Oklahoma. Obviously, if Oklahoma loses, that's a name out of the pot. Now you're having an Alabama all of a sudden
Yeah.
have the ability to be involved, or Ohio State. So if
Yeah.
you're Alabama or Ohio State, you're rooting hard for TCU here.
No, you're and you know what's interesting, Jeff? I love Championship Saturday because I think the matchups are fun. I'm a big Miami fan. I'm going to sit down and watch that Clemson game, root for Miami. I really want to see that Big Ten matchup, which we're going to talk about in a few moments here, Wisconsin, Ohio State. But then you take a look at we're talking over Memphis and UCF and then getting down to this game. Don't these lines just like usually you pop out and you open up the paper, you start the week out and be like, oh man, I really like that game. To me, Jeff, all these lines suck. They all suck. Even if you get down to the MAC title game, Akron and Toledo. Ooh, 21. Like, what are we 7, 21, 3? Like, what are we doing here? All these lines are terrible from a betting perspective for me of what I like to look at. Like, you're right. When you look at this game, I like Oklahoma. You go, well, they got to win basically with double digits. And you go, gives you pause. Like, if you look at me, UCF, boy, I like this game, 7.5. And he goes, I mean, it's one of those feels where I'm not excited about gambling on Saturday, but I really want to watch these football games.
Yeah, no, there's some of these games where the lines are pretty crazy. I.e. that MAC title game. Uh, Let me ask you, Donnie. We talked North Texas,
Yeah.
Florida Atlantic.
Yep.
I did a
Yeah.
bet buffet video for this game. Listen, I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic. I don't see really in this matchup where it's a lot different from the first matchup. The only difference is Jeffrey Wilson's not playing for North Texas, which
Hmm?
makes it even more of an uphill climb. You got Florida Atlantic at home in a national TV title game opportunity. Lane Kiffin is a guy that wants the spotlight. He wants people to watch. He's done a hell of a job with Florida Atlantic. Don, if you remember at the beginning of the year, what did I call this team?
The land of misfit toys, something like that.
Yes, and that's what they were. They were a group of
Fair.
people that seemingly everyone else gave up on, and they went down to Boca. Lane Kiffin, Monty Kiffin, all the Kiffins. guys that couldn't get at other programs because of
The kid,
issues of criminal
who's the kid from
stuff.
Baylor? Who's the kid from Briles? Briles' kid, right? He's down
Yeah,
there.
Kendall Briles, he's another one. Yeah, it's just an island and group of people that
Yeah.
seemingly everyone else gave up on, but they banded together towards the end of the year. I mean, this team didn't lose in Conference USA. An impressive coaching job by Kiffin. Seems like the players love him. Their run game's been very good. And I think that the big thing with Florida Atlantic and no one talks about is how much their defense has improved, Donnie. I think they only give it up 23 points a game at home. I think North Texas is a solid football team. I love what Seth Luttrell's done there over the last several years. This was a team mired, one of the worst teams in the country 2 or 3 years ago. He's done a hell of a job. But I'm going to have to lay the points here with Florida Atlantic University. I think the season's special for them. Lane Kiffin is someone that's gaudy enough to run the score up. He doesn't care. I think this is a 41-24, 44-24 type of game. Give me FAU.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jeff. I mean, everything lines up from a betting perspective if you want FAU. You're right, the Wilson injury, which nobody's even playing that. Like, I don't even get an update really on my monitors here that says he's out for the ball game. I don't know if people don't pay attention or even know if North Texas has a football game. They're a football game this weekend. They're a really good football team. But if you take one of those key cogs out, Jeff, when we looked at betting overs, me and you always talk about, I like to have the big three. I like the dominant wideout that they have with Guyton. I like the dominant quarterback who's accurate and is mobile. That's Mason Fine. I like the dominant running back that you can hand off to and say he's going to get 10 yards or might even take it to the distance. That was Jeffrey Wilson. Take that out of the equation. Now, if you flip it over to Florida Atlantic side of the ball, Jeff, I think I'm in agreement with you here. North Texas is a very soft defensive football team. And what does FAU like to do? Run the read option with three dominant running backs. It's one of those things where if you're betting North Texas and FAU gets the ball, you're praying they throw the ball just because of how dominant Singletary has been on the ground and the backup running backs behind him. Every time they hand the football against North Texas, they might be able to take it to the distance or go 5, 6, 7 yards, keep the change moving. It's when we watch those, military academies, Army, Navy, and Air Force, when they go up against a suspect defense, you're praying for a fumble, for a holding call, because you know the defense can't stop them. And also taking a look at those outside motives here. Lane Kiffin has the entire nation engaged on him now in this whole Florida search. He's tweeting out, Kim Jong-un tweets and give me a call, and my son was out there painting the rock. If you don't think right now he's in that spotlight and wants to hang a 70 spot on North Texas just to shove that dagger into the dirt, it's coming this weekend. I like FAU, Jeff. I like where you're going.
Yeah, I think this is one you really got to key in on. Donnie, let me ask you, is it weird that in the first draw in the World Cup, first team picked, take a guess who it was? Now, remember where the
First
game
team.
is, remember where
What are they
the
drawing?
World
Like
Cup.
not conferences. What's the word I'm looking for? What groups they're in, I guess.
Yeah, they basically draw for what groups they're in. They pick like little balls
Iceland.
out of like.
Iceland. The Iceland come out, Jeff.
No, does it surprise you at all that the first team picked was Russia? I mean, how fucking rigged? I mean, that they were number one. These draws are weird, but I mean, they're picked number one and they're in Group A. I don't get it. It makes no sense
Which
to
one's
me
going to
that
be the group of death? Well, is there always a group of death, Jeff, in the World Cup draw?
there's always going to be a tough group. The problem this year, Donnie, or this time around is a lot of the big boys are out. Netherlands aren't in it. Italy's not in it. Chile's not in it. There's a lot of teams that didn't make the cut. So you'll have groups of death, but I don't think they're going to be as tough because you have a lot of African teams. You have a lot of Asian teams. So it's not going to be, I don't think, as tough because all the big time teams are going to all be in different groups. So you'll have a couple, but I don't think you're going to have the typical ones just
Oh,
because
Jeff,
the
some people are
competition.
schooling you here. Said the host team always gets picked first automatically.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't know much about the draw, so I can't really comment. But I would imagine that's what I thought, but it was just kind of weird. But hey, there you go. But I don't think we can disagree that these fucking things aren't shady as fuck, Donnie. Come on. There's like
No,
little
no,
dots on the
it's
balls on
FIFA.
which
I mean,
one to pick.
FIFA is completely bogus. So yeah, I
And I
would
mean, when
agree.
Vladimir Putin speaks before the draw, I mean, that you got to wonder what meddling has went on in this draw.
Yeah, can you imagine
Exactly.
somebody drawing the balls out there and it comes up with not like Ivory Coast or something like that? Does that guy just go right to the chamber and you won't
I
see him
mean,
for 20 years?
I'm going to be interested to see Donnie as this show goes on. We have about 20 minutes or so. I do want to see who's in Russia's group because I have a weird feeling it's going to be like the bottom four teams in the whole competition. Like it's going to be like Morocco, Tunisia, like just we'll see. But let's move on here. So we agree, Donnie. The first real bet we want to make um, has to be Florida Atlantic here. I mean, we're definitely both keyed in
I
on
like
that
Florida
one.
Atlantic. No, I do. I like it. It's a big number. It's going to land on 14. North Texas happy to be there, but I just think there's a little bit more motive. And again, you're playing at home. Going down the South Beach, and excuse me, not South Beach, Boca Raton, close to South Beach, just north of Fort Lauderdale. But
Sure.
looking at this game as a whole, you're right though. I think there's more advantage for FAU. And who has stopped them, Jeff, on the ground? Who has stopped FAU? Or say, you know what? I see a tough spot here. The North Texas
No one.
offense is good, but the defense is very suspect. Very suspect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And FAU's defense is picked up really, really well. So yeah, I see a double digit victory there. Like I said, 41-24, 44-24, something like that. Let's move on, Donnie. We'll go down to 325, 326. The big one down in where are we at? I guess
Charlotte.
North Carolina, Donnie. You get
Yeah, Charlotte.
Clemson -9 against the Miami. Totals 46. Bad news for Miami, Donnie. Amon Richards out for the year now. So you have to ask you. I mean, if you're a Miami fan, don't make comments on the game just yet. How are you feeling about Amon Richards now out?
It's a shame. It's a shame because if he came into the season, Jeff, you say, my goodness, like we would never know what you're going to get out of Rozier. Like we weren't even sure that Rozier was even going to start the football game this year. Would they hand it over to Perry or somebody else on the roster? So now you say, all right, how are we going to live this year, Jeff? Well, we know Herndon's a big time tight end. He's probably going to be one of those David Njoku's first, second, third round in the NFL, a legitimate NFL prospect, right? You say, all right. Now we have that big weapon who dominated last year with Amon Richards. Freshman of the year, almost caught 1,000 yards. He's going to take the top off for Miami. He's down. And you say, that's okay. Mark Walton out there, probably the best running back in that conference, who's going to start for you, a dominant weapon. He's out. I mean, we're going to break this game down, but it's really a shame because what could have been, and they're still 10-1 at this point. They're still in the ACC title game. They fought back a lot. They're going up against a really good, talented team, but I'm not feeling good about those weapons down, big man.
I will say this. I mean, I mentioned that I love Miami all year, and I will put a bet on their money line just because I said I would do it,
You
and
owe
I'm
it to them.
going to. I'm
Yep,
going
you
to
owe it to them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to stick to my word and try to get as high as I can on this money line and give a shot. But I think when you look at the breakdown, it's hard to envision Miami winning this game. I mean, let alone covering it even. They're going to have very few options offensively. They have a guy that turns the ball over way too much. They have a good defense that could keep them in it, and we all know about that turnover stuff. So, if they could turn the ball over, but Clemson is so good defensively. Kelly Bryant's been very good all year. And look, I mean, it's Dabo Sweeney against Mark Richt. It's going to be a tough climb, especially with Richards now out. You really have to depend on Braxton Berrios. If you can bracket him and gig him out of the game, they don't have much of a run game. It's going to be difficult. I am kind of liking the under in this game, Donnie, as I kind of look at the number here. It's went down a little bit, but Clemson could do some real damage here defensively. I think the only way Miami can really hang in this game is if they can generate some turnovers. But turnovers are a crapshoot. How do you really handle that, Donnie?
Yeah, you know what? Looking at the game overall, Jeff, I'm glad that Clemson doesn't have that traditional drop
Whoa,
back.
Donnie.
What? We
Group
got
B, Portugal and Spain in the same group. Ooh,
that tough.
ooh. That's gonna be an interesting one. We got an interesting sort of a facts here.
The group of death now. Yeah, getting back to this Miami game, just looking at it overall, Miami struggles with that prototypical pocket quarterback that can sling it back there. You saw it with Benkert, had a huge game. Even the Pittsburgh kid had his, a little bit of wheels back there, pretty accurate, moving the football up and down the field. Kelly Bryant, not so accurate throwing the football, but they're so talented, Jeff. You almost look at the mold that Clemson has set. Would you agree, Jeff? Sort of that Alabama mold. Give me a quarterback that can make some plays. If I need him to throw, he can throw. But give me the big boys up front. Give me some dominant wide receivers. We'll make enough plays because when it all comes down to it, our defense is going to eat out there. So that similar type of mold that Clemson has cast. And obviously, Dabo Swinney graduated from Alabama, an Alabama guy. That's the way he's going to build it, and that's the way you should build it in college football right now. But just looks like the one thing I like about Miami in this game, if you say, how are you going to build a case or how are you going to get after and bet Miami, Jeff? The one thing with those South Florida kids, they're not scared of anything. They don't care what environment they're in. They don't care what team they're going to play. If you look back last week with Clemson and South Carolina, how scared little puppies South Carolina was last week. The quarterback in the pocket with nobody around him, scared out of his mind that one of those big bad monsters on that front four was going to come after him. As you saw right off the bat, they're backed up on their own 1 yard line. Kid drops back to pass. Nobody's around them. Scared to death he might get sacked in the end zone. Throws the ball out into the flat, an easy pick six for Clemson. Miami's not going to do that. Miami's going to bring the wood on defense. Miami's going to press Clemson. Miami's going to tell Clemson in that first quarter, like, you're not beating us. Good luck and try to do it. Whether or not they can do it, I don't know. But the one thing you like getting, Jeff, again, we're not getting 3. We're not getting 4. We're not getting 7. You're almost getting double digits when you're taking the Miami Hurricanes. That's a really good defense. It's going to be a championship-type atmosphere. What can you get out of Rozier? Can we get the Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Malik Rozier? Or are we going to get the one that we saw against Pittsburgh where everybody's wide open, but it doesn't matter. I can't throw the football.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like I said, I think the only way Miami hangs in this game is if they get a turnover or two. And
Or
listen,
they need 3 in this football game. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, right. I mean, it's going to be difficult for them to manufacture offense because I don't think they have the bodies, truthfully. They don't have a lot of high-level players right now. They're always going to have good players in there. It's Miami, but you got to depend on Homer. You got to depend on Rozier. He's going to not turn the ball over. There's just a lot of things right now for Clemson that really working well for them. So yeah, it's going to be difficult.
What's funny
but
too,
I'll
Jeff?
take
The
a
one thing
shot.
that really hurts Miami, even if you have like Rozier, like I'm not a big fan of Rozier. You heard me say this all the time, but when the going got tough for Miami, their favorite play was the swing pass to the tight end with the wide receivers blocking. That was Herndon running that play. That's out of the equation now. So I mean, it's tough sledding. You're right, Jeff.
I'm going to go under 46. I think this is mostly Clemson scoring. I could see a situation where Miami really 10, 13 points. I think they're really hamstrung to score in this game. We got another group of death, Donnie. Argentina, Croatia. That's a tough one. We got Peru. They're in with France. France got a pretty easy second opponent there. We'll see what happens, though. Lot to still go on here. England, Donnie, they're drawing. They're going to go in with Belgium. Uh-oh. They might get running
Is
in that
Company going to
group.
play in that one, Jeff? Philalani.
Vincent Felani and company, yes, they're still there. Both of which play in the Premier League. So, yes, they will be there for Belgium.
That's knowledge right
Company's
there,
been,
Jeff. Dropping some soccer knowledge on you right there.
yeah. Well, give me some more Belgian players. Who's their best player? Do you know him?
Yeah, I don't think he plays for Belgium. Might getting confused. Maybe the Netherlands guy. Shoot, white dude, some white guy. I know that doesn't break it down too much as a white guy. Not Redden. I can't remember his name.
Ruud van Nistelrooy.
No, I do remember that name. That's a pretty good.
He's
one.
gone though.
Does he still play?
No, he's out. Arjen Robben.
There you go, Robin. That's the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Robin's Netherlands. No, here's a name for you, Donnie. Romelu Lukaku. He's Belgium's best player, probably. But yeah, a lot of great names here. We'll keep the draw going, see how that goes. Let's go to another game here, Donnie. So I'm going to go under 46 in the ACC title game. You seem like you're leaning Clemson. Let's go to this one, Donnie.
I don't have a good feeling that. Like, Jeff, what's a shame of this game? Let's just say, and I know you can't do this in the NFL. Let's line up healthy Mark Walton, Herndon, and Amon Richards in this game. Isn't the game on in this game? Like, isn't this going to be a brawl with the line that's
sure.
Clemson minus 2.5? You know what I mean? Damn it.
Yeah,
could have had it too.
This is what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
This is what I dreamed of, So, yeah, it sucks. But injuries do that sometimes. Egypt gets drawn, Donnie. My squad, there they are, Egypt. That's very, very cool. They're going to go in the A group with Russia and Uruguay. Don't hate that for the Egyptians. I love it. That's my squad this year, Donnie. Egypt. Let's go to this one. Ohio State, Wisconsin. Lines moved down a little bit. You could have got 7 a little bit earlier in the week. To Ohio State, now favored. What do we got here? I believe 6. Yep, 6. Total 51. Donnie, I'm going to take the reins in this one quickly if I can.
Yes.
I got 7 in this game. I already bet it. Already sent it out. I like Wisconsin a lot in this game. For one reason, actually for many reasons. First of all, is no one concerned at all that JT Barrett got surgery like 20 days ago? I mean, Donnie.
20 days ago? Didn't he get surgery just after the game?
Yeah, I think it was like, I'm pretty sure I could have sworn it was like 20 days. No,
I thought he got
Maybe
surgery after the football game to trim his meniscus.
I don't know what the lady was.
Hurt.
She said 20 days. I'm thinking, well, did he recover or what was it? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, because the word came because the big interviews this week were all, is he going to be ready for the football game? They had doctors on trying to say, like, it's not a rebuild of his MCL. They just tried to trim, I guess, off the fringe, so it just matters about swelling. But he had that procedure after the Michigan game.
But either way, my concern with this game for Wisconsin is, or for Ohio State is, A, you look at Wisconsin, number 2 in the country in time of possession. They hold on to the football, they gash you on the run, they play flawless defense. And that's why, for me, Wisconsin's not a sexy team. They're not going to be a team you want to regularly watch every week. They don't do anything that's really going to be like, wow, they're sexy to watch. But they smash mouth football, play great defense, hold on to the ball, do a great job of defending the pass. I just look at this game from an end of, I like Ohio State defensively; they're very good, but I think this is a lower scoring game. I think getting the point, they're not getting any respect. Wisconsin hasn't lost a game this year, and you're giving them 6-7 points in a game like this. I know Hornibrook's had some trouble, but I believe he's better than people might think. He's made some throws that I've seen that I didn't think he can make. For me, I got to go Wisconsin. I'm going to take a shot with the Badgers here. I think they win this game, but I'll take the points. I want that defense. I want that time of possession. I want that bruising running back, Jonathan Taylor. I'm all over the Badgers here. Give me the points, but I think they win.
It's funny, Jeff, when you look at it. I agree. I guess there's still the sentiment out there that says, well, I saw it before when Wisconsin got their ass handed to them by Ohio State in almost the same situation, and Ohio State ended up going and winning the national championship. I can hear your sentiment on that, but you're right. I haven't seen anybody, and I don't understand this because I'm hearing it again. Ohio State more talented in the trenches. I don't know if people watch like football from a ground level. Pop on a Wisconsin tape and you tell me that Wisconsin's offense is not going to win in the trenches this week. I don't understand. And if you look from a betting perspective, look at the last 5-6 games, whatever, that Wisconsin's played on defense. So big bad, JT Barrett, who we know can't throw the football all that well. Now you're going to send them into this football game against a team that let up 40 yards to Indiana on the ground, 25 to Iowa on the ground, and 41 yards passing to Iowa. They held Iowa, Jeff, to under 100 yards. So now if you say, well, I don't like to, match up teams that played in the past, go check the tape on the Iowa-Ohio State game and see how they held up. And then watch Wisconsin's defense. Fast forward it again, Jeff. Michigan, 58 yards on the ground. Big, bad Michigan, so tough in the trenches. You got 58 yards. Minnesota, who all they can do is run. They're basically Army out there, 93 yards on the ground. But yet we fast forward that Ohio State's going to run a train on Wisconsin this week on defense. This is the game. I love Miami. Don't get me wrong. This is the game I want to watch because I'm really rooting for the Wisconsin Badgers in this game. I love the way they play. And I just think if they hand off to Taylor and don't turn the football over, good luck, Ohio State. Good luck.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I love them here. I love them in this spot. You're basically backing a kid off a meniscus injury. That's concerning. And you're backing a kid that can't throw to begin with. Wisconsin is suffocating, Donnie, on defense. They're suffocating. They just hang out. They're awesome. I love to watch this team. And yes, they had some trouble with who they played early on, but they dominated everyone they played. They're not going to, not going to, like I said, they're not sexy at all, but they do the little things in games. They're fantastic on defense, and they look like a team of kind of destiny in a way. They're well coached. We haven't heard a ton from Paul Chryst. I could see this team making this kind of run, getting into the top 4 and doing some damage because they can bother you. They hold on to the football. They're kind of like Navy, Donnie. They hold on to the football for 35 minutes a game. When they can keep the offense off the field, it's pretty amazing. I'm not going to dispute that he's not a better thrower than Hornibrook, but again, I'm not also saying that I think we can make cases that offensively, running back wise, Wisconsin's the better team. Defensively, they're probably better. Donnie, I'm not going to make the case that JT Barrett's not a good thrower, not better than Hornibrook. But Hornibrook can surprise you. He's made some throws recently, particularly against Michigan that I thought were impressive. Give me Wisconsin here. Plus, I got 7, so I'll take the 7. But I think they
I
win.
would love a slugfest, Jeff. I would love it. You're saying in the chat box there, DJ1 Mike, Ohio State wins a slugfest. I want to see it because I like that type of football. I don't like Hornibrook as a quarterback. I just think, like, I've seen him throw way too many pick sixes this year. It's almost like, he throws the ball 10 times a game and sometimes he throws 2 or 3 interceptions. He's that little engine that could at quarterback. Just stay out of the way in this football game. I think it'll be fun. And right. Like, aren't we? And Jeff, let's still get back to this whole JT Barrett thing. The dude had surgery. Yeah, he's going to be fine Jeff, he left last week's football game and couldn't walk, right? Then he gets a procedure, right. and you're still on turf. You're going to play in a dome against a fast, physical defense. And is this like Phillip Rivers in the NFL, Jeff, where it's like, dude, I don't run. All you need to do is keep me upright, and I can make all the throws. This offense is built on the read option with a quarterback that's going to have an anchor on his leg. Did I miss something here?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I don't know how you can really feel that comfortable betting them just with knowing that. But hey, do what you got to do. But I'm going to take the healthy team. I'm going to take the team that has done everything in front of them all year. So I'm going to go with Wisconsin here plus the points. Donnie, we can quickly do one more. By the way, Donnie,
yeah.
The draw's just about over here. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia going to be in Russia, Egypt, and Uruguay's group. So that's
Saudis are in it this year. All right, there we go.
Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You're part of a kingdom.
A lot of money behind that, Jeff. What do they get for rewards if they do well in the World Cup? Like 6 Mercedes, maybe an oil field. They got cash over there.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They probably have plenty of income. By the way, Costa Rica, Donnie, they're in it. They're in Group B.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to the Costa Ricans, Donnie. Our great SBR foreman
in the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. You're in the same group as Brazil, Switzerland, and Serbia. Boo. So make sure they beat Serbia. Beat Serbia. Costa Rica. Beat Serbia. Awesome stuff. They're in. I'm sure they're buzzing down in San Jose right now at the SBR field offices.
Having parties. Yes, yes. It's a great day in the offices down there, Jeff. They're not paying any attention.
Yeah, I think they're definitely paying attention because Zach let me know that the World Cup draw was live. So they're definitely paying attention, Donnie, right? Do we want to do one more, Donnie, quickly?
Yeah, why not? Pick one. There's got another big one out there, isn't there?
You know what?
Which game are we missing?
Let's shout out the listeners. We have a couple of minutes to go. Let's just shout out the listeners. DJ1 Mike, welcome in. You're the man. Appreciate your comments today. He's talking about neither offense does anything special, but Ohio State secondary has NFL talent. Wisconsin's doesn't. Yeah, disagree. I think they do. Like I said, I'm a fan. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm not going to bet it. I wouldn't lay 7 even if I was. So there you go. We have a fan here. He's even saying don't lay the 7, and I agree with him. I think in a game like this, I'm going to take the healthier team, the team that's undefeated. Wisconsin will stick to the script, then pound the ball in the second half after, hanging around. I agree with you. Good call, Big Easy VZ. I'm on Citadel. Listen, I'm not talking you out of Citadel today, but Preston Parks, one of their better players, left the program recently. So for Duger Balcom's team, Donnie, when you lose a player of Preston Parks' caliber, Citadel already has trouble. Losing a player like him, it's not good. So I would. Maris stinks, so they shouldn't have a ton of problems with Maris today. But Citadel's not good at all. They're awful, actually. They're an awful defensive group, and one of their better players is gone. So I hear you, King Rail, but just remember, don't. Well, King Rail, I got talked out of Temple last night. Well, you should get talked out of anything, and I guess that's a shot at me. But there you go, you got it in. Congratulations.
Yeah, Jeff, look, I like that. No homers from you. No homers from you last night. Very surprised you went with South Carolina, but that shows that I know how much you like Temple, and you're going to be going to a lot of Temple games, but you see value in another direction. It didn't win, but again, I like it, Jeff. So people respect that about us.
Yeah, I think, last night, like I said, I mean, many people know I love Temple. I'm all in. I mean, I'll be there next week against Wisconsin on Wednesday, but I just thought South Carolina, their bigs, I thought would give. And you know what's amazing, Donnie? And it's actually, as a Temple fan, it's definitely nice to see. Damian Moore last night had a huge game for Temple. They're big, so it was nice to see. Yeah. But South Carolina really struck out last night. They went down in the game, weren't able to recover, and that was a nice win for the Owls last night. Nice to see a neutral court. Now you play Sunday and you start your home stretch. They haven't had a home game yet this year, so it'll be nice to see the League Course Center pop, and you get Wisconsin coming in. So I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, you can't be homerish in this business, Donnie. You gotta
Yeah.
stick to what your principles say. So by the way, I didn't. I'm not a homer when it comes to the money in college hoops, Donnie.
By the way, Nelson
Um,
Reynosa, let me get a shout out for my Snapchat. Shout out your Snapchat, Nelson. There you go. Shout out.
Go ahead. What do we care?
Enjoy
Yeah,
it.
but other than that, Donnie, we're gonna
Yeah.
wrap it up. Hope everyone has a great championship Saturday and
Yes.
Sunday. You enjoy the NFL. Donnie will be back
Oh, yeah.
Sunday. We got a lot going on Sunday here at SBR
Sunday
Forum
night's going to
and
be
SBR Pick.
popping. I mean, I do shows. I mean, I'm going to be on with Gabe in the morning as usual, 12 to 1 o'clock. We'll come back at halftime. But we're going to have one of those setups there where I might need a little bit of Crown Royal already flown when me and the big man hit the airwaves trying to set you up for that Seattle-Dallas game. Seattle and the Philadelphia Eagles game. Nice Freudian slip there. But it's going to be popping. Join us on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday here at SBRPicks.com.